Welcome to another Air Medical Trip vlog. I've just gotten home, have just about 20 minutes to get packed here, and then we're heading to Madrid, Spain tonight, bringing the patient back somewhere, maybe Toronto. We'll see. Gotta get packed. Thanks for joining me on this amazing trip.
The children were probably crying because they had flown Eurowings Discover before in economy. I hadn't yet, but I was about to find out. This is like the Air Canada Rouge of Lufthansa, so they seem to have stopped maintaining the planes long ago. I was very lucky though to have no one beside me, so at least I had some lateral leg room, since otherwise my knees would have been nearly touching the reclined seat in front. I did manage to sleep on the 9-hour flight to Frankfurt and was happy to say goodbye to that plane and hello to a much roomier Lufthansa mainline A320 for my connecting flight to Madrid. And the chocolate made me forget all of my previous troubles. I made my way into Madrid on this lovely spring evening and got checked into the hotel.
And now it's coming up on 5 p.m. Madrid time. I've made it to the hotel. I need to go into town to try to find a few supplies and hopefully dinner. And then it's going to be a relatively uneventful layover here because I think we're leaving tomorrow morning, but I don't actually know because we've had a destination change from Toronto to British Columbia.
These changes are of course something that you just need to roll with in this industry. So I made my way into Madrid for the evening. Part of my role involves double checking the equipment to make sure everything is in perfect order. So while in Madrid, I took the chance to pick up some extra supplies for our medical kit. It was a bit of an adventure trying to find everything on a Sunday evening, especially with the language barrier. But after many stops along the way, I was ready for a safe repatriation, and then I set out to find some dinner, do some more wandering around downtown Madrid, and of course to find dessert before heading back to the hotel and off to bed.
Good morning from Madrid, where it's coming up on 7 o'clock. I've been up for an hour or so, did some final case review of the documents and the final travel plans, got the kit packed up, had breakfast, and now it's time to go pick up the patient for the 24-hour journey back to Canada, heading all the way to the West Coast. One last thing, coffee. A very important skill in this industry is coffee titration, making sure you have enough that you can function in the morning, but not so much that you can't get some rest on the first flight, especially if it's a long one like our first leg today.
Our first flight was a smooth, uneventful journey across the Atlantic, landing us in Washington, D.C. right on time. Now, connecting through the US is actually something we try to avoid because it means clearing US passport control, but we managed to make it through and catch our next flight to Vancouver. From there, it was one last hop over to Vancouver Island, where we dropped off the patient just before midnight.
Hello from my hotel in Victoria. It's after midnight. Got the patient safely to the hospital. I need some sleep. Waking up after a little less than 5 hours of sleep does not feel good. But one of the best things about doing this kind of work is that occasionally you end up with a little bit of time in cities where you know people that you get to go and catch up with. So I'm going for a very early breakfast to do just that.
It really is one of the best things about this job to be able to catch up with friends in so many varied places. So I made my way into the city and got to spend a morning with friends on a surprise visit before heading back to the airport, where I had 2 flights to get back home and end the trip.
After a lovely flight in business class thanks to a free upgrade from Vancouver to Calgary, I've made it back. Got to go drop off the medical kit, and then I'm getting home and getting to bed.